Hello and welcome to Your Broken Galaxy. I am Broken, and today I am answering the question asked by Dreadzilla9548. What if Chewbacca was 4 Ewoks in a Wookiee suit? So the Battle of Endor has just ended, and unfortunately Chewbacca the brave and mighty warrior has fallen in battle, sacrificing himself to lead a group of 4 adoring Ewoks to capture an AT-ST, which was absolutely necessary for the ultimate destruction of the Death Star. However, those brave Ewoks, not having the heart to tell Han Solo that his friend had perished, decided that they would join together to honor their Wookiee hero. Wargick, one of these brave warriors, used his skills as a hunter to skin Chewbacca, and Gojak, a master tailor of the Ewoks, promptly sewed up his skin into a somewhat ill-fitting suit. Wargick stood inside of Chewbacca's left leg while Gojak stood in his right. The albino Ewok named Snuggles took the midsection with one foot on the head of Wargick and one on the head of Gojak, and standing atop his shoulders stood Kodiak, putting on the mask of Chewbacca's face and manipulating his arms with long sticks. As the troop came walking up to the victorious rebels, Han looked at his dear friend and said, "Chewie, what the heck happened to you?" And the majestic little creatures, having not considered what to do regarding the Wookiee language, panicked and thought that their honorable ruse was over before it had even started. But bold Kodiak decided that he would risk discovery on the gamble that Han never understood Chewie, and with the deepest voice that Kodiak could muster, he warbled, "And Han said, 'Boy, you said it. You look just terrible. Let's get you something to eat.'" 3PO says, standing right next to Leia, "I'm sorry, Princess, but I think something is wrong with Master Chewbacca. What he just said now was mindless gibberish." And Leia said, "Yes, that was obviously 4 Ewoks in a Wookiee suit pretending to be Chewbacca." And 3PO responded, "Yes, I thought that might be the case, but I didn't want to say anything in case I was wrong." So they start celebrating, and Luke shows up, and Han is like, "Luke, we did it! Chewie captured an AT-ST and we got into the shield generator and destroyed the thing." And Luke looks over at Chewbacca and his face just twists in disgust. And Han says, "Look, Chewie got hit pretty bad in the battle, but don't say anything. He's sensitive about it." And Luke looks at Han in confusion and says, "Han, that's not..." "Oh, hey, Luke," Leia says, walking up. "We've decided to give Chewie a medal," she says, winking at him. And Luke kind of sighs and says, "That's a great idea." So the next day, they have a big old ceremony where Lando, Wedge, and Tycho are all given medals for flying into the Death Star, and dear old Chewbacca is given a medal, finally given a medal for winning the Battle of Endor. Over the next several years, the 4 Ewoks go on countless adventures with Han. They are the best men at his wedding. They are there when his children are born. They even eventually learn to speak Shiriwook, the Wookiee language, so they can speak with real Wookiees. But after so many adventures, the galaxy eventually finds itself on the precipice of war with an intergalactic invader. Han and the 4 Ewoks find themselves on the planet Cern Pedall. The locals are panicking, claiming that the moon is falling to the ground. Han looks at the troubled creatures, thinking that they are going crazy, but then looks up and sees the massive moon flying towards them. He and his son Anakin, along with the 4 brave Wookiees, start doing what they can to help the locals evacuate the planet. As the moon draws closer to the planet, the shifting gravity between the 2 celestial orbs starts causing vast and terrible windstorms, causing the people of the world to be thrown to and fro amidst the air. As Wogick and Kojak are doing just absolutely everything they possibly can to try and keep their abomination of a costume running at the same speed as Han and Anakin. But amidst the horrible windstorm, Anakin is lifted as he takes off into the air. The mighty Kodiak extends the sticks with which he has puppeted the arms of Chewbacca for the last 2 decades to grab the young Solo boy, and Anakin grabs onto him tightly. Kodiak, however, also begins to lift off into the air, but Snuggles grabs tight to his ankles and pulls with all of his might, as both Wogik and Kojak likewise grab on to Snuggles. After a moment, the wind dies down and Anakin falls into Kodiak's loving stick arms. Han, meanwhile, was unaware of what was happening with his son as he was leading the locals onto the Falcon. With all the strength that they can muster, the four beasts sprint towards the Falcon. As the gravity of the moon pushes and pulls on the planet, the ground beneath them begins to split. The Falcon has initiated its repulsor lifts to keep the vessel afloat, but the ground falls out from beneath it. The brave Ewoks, mere inches away from the Falcon's boarding ramp, jump as Han extends his hand towards the brave friend Chewbacca. Kodiak pushes forth Anakin into Han's waiting arms and then begins to fall into the chasm that has opened beneath them. All four brave bears know with certainty that they have done their tribe of the Bright Tree Village proud by honoring the memory of mighty Chewbacca and saving so many lives over the years. Without a word of confirmation between them, they simultaneously scream a battle cry as one voice, knowing that their time has come. But then, empowered by the living force itself, not the mere sticks of Kodiak the Brave, but the skinned and lifeless arm of Chewbacca moves on its own accord, and with no margin of error, springs forth, grabbing the edge of the boarding ramp of the Falcon. The four Ewoks, speechless as what is happening in front of them, feel the skin suit around them move like the magics of old as the other arm of Chewbacca rises and grabs the ramp. The body swings Wogik's leg up to hook itself on the ramp and pull his body upward. And there, on the boarding ramp, Chewbacca, reborn, looks down at his dear friend Han Solo. The Falcon flies into the sky, being piloted by Anakin, and Han says, "Chewie, I never thought I'd see you again." And Chewie reaches out with both arms and pulls Han in for a big hug, and says in perfect basic, "It's time to let go, Han." And Han looks up at his friend, tears streaming down his face as the world around him drifts into the apocalypse, and says, I miss you, you big furball." And Chewie smiles and says, "I miss you too, Han," and embraces him once more. "Goodbye, big guy," Han says. As the Falcon soars through the falling debris from the incoming moon, Chewbacca's skin starts to glow a brilliant gold. The moon crashes into the planet miles beneath them, sending a wave of debris into the air, and the glow of Chewie starts to fade, and with it, the skin sack that the brave Ewoks had been wearing goes with it. As chunks of Cern Pedall, the size of Star Destroyers, fly towards the tiny Falcon, Han and the Ewoks hear the voice of Chewbacca one last time in his native Shiriwook say, "All right, just so you guys know, skinning me and wearing it around for the last 20 years, that was not cool. I mean, it is sick, man, just sick. You should be ashamed of yourselves. I am so pleased that I can finally rest in peace away from all of you horrible, smelly, flea-ridden teddy bears." And Han, still not knowing the Wookiee language, looks at the four Ewoks standing on the boarding ramp as though they were cheerleaders making a pyramid in front of him and says, "Thanks, guys. You'll never know how much this has meant to me these last 20 years. Now let's go." Han hits the boarding ramp door, closing it, just as the molten core of the world beneath them explodes, sending fiery molten lakes of lava the size of the Death Star towards the Millennium Falcon. And he screams to Anakin, "We're all here, hit it!" And the Falcon jumps to light speed. The four Ewoks officially join Han's crew, and they all live happily for the next few years until the Yuuzhan Vong come and kill them all. Well, that's my video for today. I do sincerely hope that you liked it. Specifically, Dreadzilla, if you're watching, please let me know what you thought. I'm guessing that I did not take this in the direction you were originally thinking, but I did what I wanted to do, and that's what I do with all your guys' requests. If you have a request for a video, there's absolutely no guarantee that I am going to do it, but put it in the link in the, or not the link in the description, in the comments below. If you want to support the channel, you can check out my Patreon, link in the description below. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and all that garbage.